What is up, everybody, and welcome back to the Assistant Manager. You're here with Daniel and Zach.
What's up, everybody? We are coming to the end of the EPL season. So we've got a title race, we've got a relegation battle, and then we've got a battle for top four. So things are hotting up, as they would say.
Yeah, and I will say it's good to be back with you, Zach. We skipped last week. We put out a couple videos, but it's always fun to do
We've been
these.
slacking. We've been
Yeah,
slacking.
we have been slacking. And until that Joe Rogan level podcast money comes in, it might not be as consistent as we hope. But
That's true.
but we're trying our best. So
I'd be doing that podcast every day if I was making Joe Rogan money.
you guys
Every day.
it'd be top tier.
So if you want to hear more from Daniel and Zach, get people to listen, get people to subscribe, so we can get some sponsors other than Mr. Owen Fisher himself.
Mr. Owen Fisher himself.
Sponsoring the podcast. Dude, I'm looking in the corner of my office right now. There is a massive spider I'm going to be keeping my eyes on.
No shot? Why? I can't see it.
Whew. Oh, he's big.
Ooh.
Oh, and he's freaky. All right. If
Okay.
I make any sudden movements, it's because I'm killing this hobo spider.
Okay, so we got an exciting last week of the Premier League. Games at 9 o'clock Mountain Standard Time on Sunday. Every team kicks off, and there's a lot on it. Okay, so do you want to start at the top or bottom? What do you reckon?
Let's just start at the top.
Yep.
Let's start at the top.
All right, great minds think alike. Okay.
The top is
So-
also easier. Sophie moving around in there?
Yeah,
I can
yeah.
hear.
Yep. Okay, we're all good now. We're all good now.
It's all good.
I got a door that's probably the squeakiest door on the planet right there.
I was going to say, that thing needs a little bit of greasing. You got to
Yeah.
grease that up.
Yeah. Yes. Okay, so start us off, top of the table. We got Man City and Liverpool. One game to play. What separates them?
Okay, 1 point separates them. So here, and goal differential, if it comes to that, right? So here's essentially what needs to happen. I think there are only two scenarios in which Man City don't win the title. If they tie or lose and Liverpool win.
So
So
what you're
if they-
saying, to simplify,
if
they have to drop points, right?
They have to drop points. They have to drop points, and Liverpool have to win.
Right.
So, who are they playing? Well, Man City play Aston Villa. Liverpool play Wolves. Wolves just got absolutely trashed by Man City. What was that? A week and a half ago, 2 weeks ago. I think it was 5-1. And then they went on, and I think they tied their most recent game. I can't remember who they played. Maybe Brighton. So not in a great run of form for Wolves. Yeesh. Let's talk about Liverpool's lineup for Southampton. I mean, if Klopp doesn't put out a strong lineup, maybe Liverpool doesn't take points. I think they're going to. So I think really, it's really set up for Stevie G to play the villain.
Okay, so for those, let's give a little backstory to that, okay?
So, yeah, sorry, I need to give some backstory.
Okay, so Man City have to drop points. They play Aston Villa. Aston Villa's manager is Steven Gerrard, who is one of Liverpool's legends. Right?
Legend.
He's a legend for Liverpool, now coaching Aston Villa. They also have Philippe Coutinho, who is an ex-Liverpool player, and I haven't talked to the guy personally, but I don't think he holds a lot of ill will towards Liverpool.
Whoa, why would he hold any ill will towards Liverpool?
That's
He
what I'm
wanted to
saying.
go.
That's
for
what
those
I'm
of you
saying.
for those of you who don't know, Felipe Coutinho was our best player at Liverpool. He wanted to go. Klopp told him, "Look, you don't go. If you stay here, we're going to build statues of you." He ended up leaving, went to Barcelona for like $200 million or something crazy. Really, we owe the title and the Champions League to Phil Coutinho. We
True.
used that money.
That
We used that money to buy Van
very
Dijk
true.
and to buy Allison. So it's worked out really well for us. But so yes, Man City play Aston Villa. They have Steven Gerrard as the manager, absolute Liverpool legend. Never actually won the EPL title with Liverpool,
You
but
could argue lost it because of him.
he's
And
yeah
his
he
slip.
slipped. He slipped. Yeah, if you have time later, go look up Steven Gerrard's slip.
The infamous
Last
slip.
the infamous slip. Yeah. Oh, I don't want to talk about it. Anyways, it's set up for him to play the villain if they can beat Man City on the last day and Liverpool win the quad, baby. We're
He
coming
could
for it.
essentially win it for Liverpool by beating Man City. It is at Man City's home, known as the Etihad. Pep seems to think that it will be full and loud, even though it has the reputation of the empty had being constantly empty and not having fans show up. It being the day they could seal the title, we'll have to see if it's. I'm sure it can be full, but I don't see Man City fans being as loud as maybe a more passionate fan base. In my opinion, I don't see Man City fans as passionate as a Tottenham Hotspur who set the bar really high against Arsenal. Let's say.
Oh
Um,
my gosh.
no, it's true.
What are you thinking? What are you thinking about the title race? Do you think
Um,
City drop points?
I don't think City drop points with my head, but my soccer heart says I hope they do, because the story. But having said that, I would want Liverpool to lose the Champions League because I don't want a team to win the quad unless it's Tottenham Hotspur. So I'm okay with them winning the Prem. I think that's awesome, but I don't want them to win the quad. And I know, of course, you want them to win the quad, which
Well,
would
of course I want
be
them to win the
topped off by
quad.
the Champions League. So
I
what's your prediction? I'm predicting a Liverpool win and a Man City win, meaning Liverpool lose it by 1 point. Which once after we get your prediction, let's bring up a little incident that happened earlier in the season. So let's get your
okay.
prediction. I'm predicting they both win, meaning Man City wins by 1 point.
I think that is the most likely. However, I'm calling it. I think it's written in the stars. Stevie G. Uh, it's 1-0 Villa, and
Ooh.
who else to score it but an absolute outside of the box worldy from Phil Coutinho.
Even better, Steven Gerrard himself hits a free kick from 45 yards out.
Subs himself in. He slips, last man, and then no, jeez, oh
Slips.
yeah, that already
Okay.
happened.
Yeah. Okay. So we're logics will say that Man City wins it by 1 point. So let's
I'm
go
going
back.
with me art
Uh,
right
two,
here
take
with
me
me art.
out. Okay, two incidents that have created this problem for Liverpool, I think. One incident is, in my opinion, the biggest managerial blunder that Klopp has made this season. Man City versus Liverpool, which end of April, the, there was talk that this was the title decider. The game was really intense. Liverpool had to fight back from 2-0 down to make it 2-all. However, with like 60 in the 65th minute, meaning there's 25 minutes left, it seems like both teams agreed to a draw. That neither team really pushed for a goal, and I was like, man, this is Liverpool's chance to take it back in their own hands. And it seemed like it was it, at least from a viewer's perspective, it looked like a conscious decision from both teams saying, hey, we'll both take a point and we'll see who can win out, right? I think it goes back to that I think Liverpool lose by a point because they just settled for a draw there. They didn't push. Both teams could have pushed and scored potentially, right? That's all up in the air, pie in the sky. But I really think that was the biggest blunder. You didn't go for it then. You didn't pick up the 3 points, and now it's going to cost you the title. it looked like a
Yeah,
conscious decision to me. What was your
yeah,
thoughts?
yeah. No, we've talked about this off the podcast. I agree 100%. Um, yeah, we had to. I mean, every game we've had with City this year has been a battle. We fight to come back. It's 2-2. There's 20 minutes left, and I mean, correct me if I'm wrong. I felt like the momentum was in Liverpool's favor
Yeah,
during
I
that
mean,
period of the game.
you were two down and fought back to 2-2 level.
So that's where I'm like, yeah, we decided to draw and see who could win out, and I agree. That was our fatal mistake. If we lose the title, I think that that's our fatal mistake. We had them on the ropes like a boxer, champion boxer. We had them on the ropes, and we let them get out of the corner, and we just let it go to a unanimous decision, and the other guy's gonna
Yeah.
win.
Well,
You know
that's a great analogy because how many times does a confident fighter let it go to the judges and ends up losing, right?
exactly,
And I
exactly.
think that's what both teams did. They said we're going to leave it to the judges, aka see who can win out. And I think Liverpool are going to pay the price, possibly the quad glory to that. There's another moment in the history of this season that I was reminded of by watching actually our YouTube shorts. I saw it on our channel.
You're rewatching yourself. Is that what you're
Hey,
doing out there?
gotta get those views up, baby.
Got to get those views up. Pump those views up. Those are
Okay,
rookie number views right there.
those are rookie number views. Yeah. I mean, so there's an incident. Man City played Everton, and this was towards the beginning of the season. Well, maybe not beginning, mid-season.
Middle of the season,
Middle of the
mid-season.
season. That there was a handball that should have given Everton a penalty, an opportunity to draw the game. Okay? The handball wasn't called on Rodri, meaning no penalty given, no opportunity to tie the game. Man City take all 3 points. The very next day, a call was given to Everton by the head referee and said, "Hey, we're sorry, we missed that one." So you can argue about subjective calls all day. This one was verified wrong by themselves from the referees, right? They said, "Hey, we missed the call. We missed out giving you a penalty." And they admitted fully that they got that one wrong. Now you could say refs have messed up other places that have given Man City points or have given Liverpool points, but this one is admitted by the referees, by the PGMOL, which now looking back could have given City the title because they would have dropped 2 points there, resulting in a draw. However, the penalty kick would have been taken, could have been saved, could have not been saved, but we know penalties are more often scored than saved.
And the ball
Thoughts?
doesn't lie.
Th-
Ball
yeah,
doesn't lie. So I'm
thoughts on
backing.
that?
I'm backing Everton to score that one. Weirdly enough, they might be going down. We'll be talking about them later.
And yeah,
Um,
that's a good point. Before you answer, when we talk about relegation, this could be affecting
oh
them
yeah,
who
yeah.
need a point, who
Yep.
are in a relegation battle where a point could mean down or not. They need
Exactly.
to. So it affects both ends of the table here.
A
So
lot of implications. A lot of implications off
yeah,
of that one handball. Yeah, we talked about that earlier this year. Even my buddy the ref got it wrong.
buddy the ref, got to get him on the pod.
Yeah, we do need to get him on the pod. He's been wanting to come on, but he's too busy reffing games. Probably get balls wrong. Unbelievable.
Yeah,
Um,
refs make me sick.
they make all refs are pigs. Unbelievable.
Oh my gosh,
That's what he says all the time. He's always trashing on refs because he's a ref.
that's fair.
But yes, the Rodri handball. That one I'm a little less like. I'm peeved, right? Because it should have been a handball, and then Everton probably score. But I think our fate was in our own hands, and we really just let it slip in the Man City game. You know, it's hard to be like, the title came down to a handball, even though it might,
Right,
totally.
right.
But it was still in our hands. Like it was still ours for the taking, and we had been in a great run of form. We had been looking good, and then I don't know what it is about like playing Man City. Now they're very good. They're very good.
Tottenham doesn't seem to have a problem.
Tottenham doesn't seem to have a problem. That's true. I just
Uh,
every time we play them, I'm like I feel really good. Like the team should come out swinging. We're prepared. We've been playing well, and then we just play like garbage for like the first 20, 30 minutes.
yeah, because
But
they hit you early on that in that
they
game.
always hit us early. They always hit us early. Um, so yeah, that's a tough one. A lot of implications from that handball. City probably, yeah, we're probably ahead by 2 points at this point.
Yeah, I would say, and you bring up a fair point, that that would change the situation going into every single other game. Like that would change the situation for the Liverpool Man City game, meaning Liverpool have to win, right? Even though they had to anyways, but this would make them maybe push those last 20 minutes. So it's tough to say, well, that changed the season, that gave Man City the title. I'm just saying, a little scandalous. That's all I'm saying.
Very
So we're
scandalous.
both predicting that Man City will win the title by winning their last game, but we're
No, no,
hoping.
whoa,
Well,
whoa,
I
whoa,
mean,
whoa.
come on,
I said that the logical bet was the Man City win.
right?
I'm not betting with my heart, Daniel. Or my
No,
head.
you,
I'm betting
you
with my
are
heart.
betting with your heart.
I am betting with my heart. It's all on black.
Boom. Okay, so Man City, Man City, Liverpool, Chelsea are firm. They have sealed top four, right? So they it doesn't matter what happens to them. Next up is Tottenham in fourth, with Arsenal. What is it? 2 points behind.
Two
Yeah,
points down.
Arsenal are
Yep.
2 points behind, and their goal difference is like minus 15 on Tottenham. So going to the last day,
Y'all play Norwich.
yeah, Tottenham plays
That's a
Norwich,
dub.
who already relegated. We have to win or tie, assuming that Arsenal doesn't beat Everton, who they play 15-0. Okay, so I think that goes underrated. Arsenal gave up in their game this midweek against Newcastle when they went down a goal. Basically, they just gave up. If they could have tied that game, that would have put the pressure on us, meaning we had to win, right? That a tie wasn't enough. And I think that adds an extra element of pressure that even if they tied that game, it's out of their hands at that point, but it makes it more difficult on us. But yeah, so we have to beat the worst team in the league who have no motivation to play. We have to beat or tie them. So
Dude,
I
I mean, what
it's
if they want to come and play spoiler to this party?
yeah,
And
and
dude,
you can never
what
be
if the
complacent.
pressure, yes, what if the pressure, what if you guys play better with the pressure and you need to win, and so they're like, Harry Kane's like, all right, we're
We're
winning.
getting,
But
I
now you
will
can
say,
tie, and then that's where
yeah.
things can get a little bit hairy.
Listen, I
You know what I
said
mean?
this before, and I stand by this. Tottenham versus Arsenal is who can bottle it last. Whoever bottles it last loses, right? So, I mean, we've been passing the torch back and forth, back and forth. Who's gonna blow it last? Arsenal have blown it. If we can just not screw it up this last game, then we will be in the Champions League. Which I just want to spend brief. I mean, because I wouldn't say a sure thing, but it's completely in Tottenham's hands. I mean, we play the easier team. Arsenal look like they've fully given up. I wouldn't be surprised if they lose their last game. But here's what I'm saying. Just to explain, top four is so important for Champions League. Champions League is not just about the finances, but for recruitment of players. Okay? So, because Tottenham versus Arsenal is such a big rivalry, it happens that every player that Arsenal's in for, Tottenham is also in for. And every player that Tottenham is in for, Arsenal is equally in for. So that causes big problems if Arsenal has Champions League as a bargaining chip and Tottenham doesn't, or vice versa, right? So, especially for both clubs being at a big turning point in their, I would say, that will project them the next 5 years, Champions League is imperative that Tottenham wraps it up in my view as a Tottenham fan, because this summer with Antonio Conte, one of the best managers in the world, we can recruit well, saying, "Hey, look, we got Champions League, we got prime Harry Kane, prime Heung-min Son. We got some up and comers who are really good. Let's run
Levy
it."
gonna dish out
You
that
know what I mean?
cash? Levy gonna dish out that cash?
I think it's likely. I think it's likely with Conte and Champions League. Yes.
Do you
So
think? Do you
go
think
ahead.
that's why you guys lost Lewis to
No,
Liverpool?
no.
Because you didn't have Champions League secured.
No, I think he was always going to Liverpool. He knew he was
Mm.
going to Liverpool, and he just used Tottenham as not necessarily him, but Liverpool used Tottenham to, I don't know, as we did all the dirty work to bring the the fee down for him, so that Liverpool could just pay the discount, right? Which is unfortunate, but
Smart though.
I don't think it was ever going to happen. The second Liverpool were serious, and he knew Liverpool
Okay.
was serious. So I don't think that was
I
a
was just
matter.
curious.
No,
Just
yeah,
curious.
I think in other cases yes, in that case no. But being back in the Champions League, I think projects Tottenham at a way different rate for the next 3-4 years, and I think this could be the downfall of Arsenal to finish seventh, eighth another 4 or 5 years. You know what I mean? I think this was a big turning point year for both teams. If Arsenal would have wrapped up top four, or if they still do, I think that really compounds either compounds their success or it compounds their failures. So we'll see what happens. Tottenham should wrap it up.
Tottenham, as far as like an on paper team, to me, belong in the top four. Right. The players that
Yeah.
you have, you're a top four team. The manager you have, you're a top
Yeah.
four team.
If we
Arsenal,
had Conte the whole season, opposed to him coming in halfway through, we'd be well above Arsenal at this point.
dude, hot take, dude. I think Arsenal even overperformed this season.
I agree 100%.
Super overperformed.
100%.
But that can be for another pod. Okay,
Yeah.
so Tottenham with a win, they're gonna wrap up the top four.
I don't
So
think Harry Kane lets Spurs be Spursy on this one.
yeah, he better hope not. So all right, that rounds out our champions, top four. So Daniel, let's get into the really really interesting battle, the
Right.
relegation battle.
Yeah, because basically, I mean, we're going table top to bottom. Everything in the middle at this point, I mean, you have a lackluster Manchester United who are just in shambles. You have other teams, and mid-table doesn't matter. I mean, you're in the Prem, but who cares? We're jumping down. We have 20th place, Norwich City, then Watford. They have already been mathematically relegated. Sitting in, and bottom three go down. Sitting in 18th place currently is Burnley. Just above them is Leeds. Just above them is Everton. So let's dive in. Let's talk about that.
Yeah. Okay. So Everton sitting on 36 points, with 2 games to play.
They play
Leeds,
tomorrow or today
Yep.
if you're listening to the podcast on Thursday.
Leeds, sitting on 35 points, 1 game to play. Burnley sitting on 34 points, 2 games to play. So Burnley and Everton play tomorrow. No, they don't play each other, but they both
Burnley
play
have a
tomorrow.
Ooh, that's bad for Leeds. I forgot about that.
Yep. So essentially, here's the easiest scenario: Everton win, they're not getting relegated. They win
Yeah, they-
any of their 2 games, they're not getting relegated.
Yep. So yeah, three
Yeah.
teams.
Okay, yeah. I'm trying to-
three
I'm-
teams, one spot, right? One relegation spot. Who
Yep.
will go down? Everton are I mean, you could say well ahead on points. They win either of their 2 games. They survive, right?
Mhm.
They're in by far the best position to survive. Then there's Leeds, who have only 1 game left to play, but 1 point on Burnley. So that And which one would you rather have? Would you rather have the game in hand or the point? Keep in mind, your team has not won very many games this whole season.
Um, yeah, I'm probably taking the point at this stage in the season. Burnley have to play Villa and Newcastle. Man, this is a real toss up for me. I could see any three of these teams going down. Like, I could see Everton losing both of their next games,
Everton's
Burnley
last
winning.
game is against Arsenal. Who do they play tomorrow?
No, no. Everton play Crystal Palace tomorrow.
Crystal Palace, and then they play Arsenal the last game. And then
Yes, correct.
Burnley play who? Villa.
Burnley play Villa and, dang it, I forget. But Leeds play Brentford, and
Oh,
Burnley have Villa and Newcastle.
right. Okay,
Yo,
Newcastle.
this is a
Yeah,
crazy relegation battle.
I think this
Any of
is
these
probably
teams could
the
go down.
yeah, this is probably the most interesting part of the final day. Because it's likely Man City will win. It's likely Tottenham will hold on to their position, right? This could really go any way here. And it would be crazy if Everton lose their game tomorrow. Then it's really a dogfight. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
So let let's answer this question. Who do you want to get relegated? Before you think who you think will get relegated, who do you want to be relegated?
Burnley.
Burnley,
I
100%.
I don't think I. If you would have asked me that question a few years ago, I would have said Burnley adds something to the EPL that a little bit of Burnley have a big game in them. Every so often. A few years ago, right? You get Burnleyed. Tottenham got Burnleyed this year, 1-0, right?
Yeah. Is that value
Burnley.
though, or is that just annoying?
No, no. See, but that's the thing is there's a little bit of Burnley had back in the day. I would say two or three surprising games in them, just based on the nature of how they play. Compact. They're gonna sit back, and
Steal a point.
they're gonna steal a point, or they're gonna counter, and they're gonna get fouled, get a set piece, get their big center backs up there, score on a set piece, steal all 3 points. Right? That was Burnley. Nothing exciting. You don't like playing them. They have a couple of big games in them. Burnley now are just annoying, and they just need to they need to go down.
Yeah.
That sounds horrible,
I
but I want some different blood. Like I want something different coming into the
yeah,
EPL. You,
I agree.
you know what you're gonna get. You know what you're gonna get with Burnley with Sean Dyche, which I guess he got sacked, so
Yeah, maybe it would
maybe now it's a little
change.
different. But I'm just ready for some new blood. That sounds horrible. But Leeds are Leeds could be exciting with Jesse Marsh. I want to see an American
In the
uh,
Premier League as the
manager
manager.
stay in the Prem. Everton haven't gone down since like the 1950s or
Yeah,
something crazy.
longest consecutive top flight, something like that. They've,
Yeah. And you know, I know he's a Chelsea legend, but I would like to see Frank Lampard succeed as a manager. Um,
I'm okay if he doesn't.
yeah, I mean that's
I do.
fair, but
I do want to see Wayne Rooney succeed as a manager.
wow. All right.
For come on, give him some credit for what he's doing at Derby, even though they got
All right.
relegated.
They did, but the man didn't he like pay the wages and everything?
Paid wages. I think paid travel. He covered a lot because they were bankrupt. So here's the question then. Leeds have a point. Burnley are in the worst position in the table, but have 2 games. Probably the most likely to keep a clean sheet to get a 0-0 draw to then pick up a point, I would say, out of those 3 teams. I really don't want Leeds to go down. I really, really, really don't want Leeds to go down. I'd be okay if Everton did just because that would be hilarious in a way.
You're
But
a
I
savage.
I really want Burnley to go down. And I think they will go down. They have Newcastle who just embarrassed Arsenal. I think they're just miles better than they were uh, mid-season when the Saudi took over, and now they're the richest club in football. And this summer they're going to overhaul. So I think they're going to embarrass Burnley. I do. I think Villa under Gerrard, he's not preaching the mentality of we're on the beach, we don't care. Gerrard is preaching the mentality of we finish strong and we're gonna fetch some people up. Honestly, so I think they're gonna get messed up these last two games, and I would love to be able to cherry pick a few players. They have this player Cornet. It's spelled Cornet. He's really good. They got Wout Weghorst, who I think is a beast. I would love as a backup striker at Tottenham. And I just don't like the way the owners came in. They're American owners. They basically just leverage the club to finance the purchase, right? So then the club carries the debt, not the person, and they can just buy a club. And so I think they kind of deserve to go down on that aspect. That's me. I don't like when owners did that. The Glazers did that with Man United, just leveraged their ownership as debt for the club and really didn't come in with the best intention of propping the club up. I don't like to see that. I don't like to see Americans do that. I would like them to go down.
Yeah, fair enough. Yeah, I want to see Burnley go down. I want to see Leeds stay up. But if I'm just looking at just form and goal differential. Like you said, Burnley are the most likely to just keep two clean sheets, and Leeds Leeds ship goals like it's going out of style.
Oh,
Like it's
they
like
have the
they don't
worst goal differential.
understand. It's like they don't understand that they're not supposed to get scored on.
Yeah.
Um, so uh, you never know. It's a toss up. I think Leeds are going to go down, unfortunately, but I want Burnley to. I don't really care what Everton do. They're a non-factor.
I
The
think I think they're safe.
the Merseyside derby is always a good one, but yeah, they're probably safe. But yeah, I think Leeds are going
Yeah.
down. So
Okay. So you think Leeds, I think Burnley. Okay, that's
so who's coming up? Just flip side of that real quick. So
okay.
for
So
those of you who don't know, EPL, there's bottom three. They get relegated, meaning they get moved down to the championship, which is the league below the EPL. So think of it as the G League to the NBA, the minors to the majors in baseball,
yeah, but the
the
teams are fluid.
the USFL or the
Uh,
XFL to the NFL.
yeah.
Actually, no, I take that back. It's the SEC to the NFL, is what it is.
Okay. Okay. So we have Fulham and Bournemouth that earned automatic promotion to the Premier League. I kind of don't like either of those teams coming up. Then we have Notts Forest or Nottingham Forest versus Huddersfield Town in the final.
How long has it been since Notts Forest have been
Notts
in the
Forest was
EPL?
last in the top flight in 1999, and
I'd love to
I
see them
believe
up.
they've won it twice. I mean, they used to be just incredible. I would love to see them up. I don't know why I've always just liked Knott's Forest, and I get as Americans we have zero idea of the history of most of these clubs, especially the ones not in the Premier League, right? We learn kind of more the bigger rivalries. As a Tottenham fan, I know to not like Arsenal. Plus, they make it easy to not like them, right? As a Liverpool fan, you just know not to like Everton. But I mean, there's other rivalries that are just so big, and so I don't know if I'm crossing any boundaries by liking Notts Forest. I don't know, but man, they just seem like a club with history. What I mean, kind of like a Leeds, financial trouble,
Villa.
go down. A Villa who have
Hmm.
won it before, were European giants, and then somehow just end up relegated, and then financial trouble, and then have to battle for years and years to make it back to the Prem. I mean, that's the kind of stuff that American sports just miss. Like did they? That's a
Absolutely.
swing and a miss. To just hear these stories of just clubs who were once great. That I mean, think of like the Patriots being relegated to the lower tier of NFL, right? Like you would never imagine that. And people probably never did at the time for these big clubs to go down, but they did and they have to fight their way back. And the fans that care enough to stick around the whole time, I mean, you can't top relegation promotion and I won't stop like I just can't watch other sports when it doesn't matter if you lose. You know what I mean? I can't
In fact, you're incentivized to lose, right? Remember the
exactly.
Indianapolis Colts suck for luck, right? You're incentivized to lose because you're going to get preferential treatment in the draft.
Right.
And so
E-
when there's real
even in the
consequences on the
MLS,
line, yeah,
the
yeah,
MLS the lower you are, the more allocation money you get, and the MLS
yeah. Hmm.
finances are just way complicated. But it just makes me mad that we want our soccer over here to be just as good, and we're not. And I understand as an owner, I'd be like, I'm not. I don't want that risk. You know what I mean? But that's why things like the Super League, things like the MLS, it's hard to watch because it doesn't matter if you lose. It doesn't matter, and that these stories can't happen. So yeah, I'm all in for Knott's Forest.
And it makes the lower leagues important. It makes it important for those fans, right? If you're in the championship, oh, you have a real shot to now get into the big leagues. It's not like, oh, I'm a minor league baseball fan. Like I don't have a major league team because we're never going to go to the majors. We can't. There's no path that way.
Right.
But this way, you could follow a team from the championship to the EPL to glory. If you're a Leicester fan back in 2016, whenever they won, like incredible story, incredible story. Um,
Three
so
thousand to
yeah,
one odds.
3,000 to 1 odds.
Yeah, yeah. So that's my big and for those who are listening, and yeah, I know we have a lot of people from the office who just might not be as interested in soccer. I get that there might not be as flashy gameplay sometimes as other sports, but these kind of stories, promotion, relegation, title fights in sports, you don't. And teams like Notts Forest, I would love to have back in the Prem. They want a PK shootout to advance to the final of the playoff, and man, it just makes me happy that they'd come back. And that's another reason I don't want Leeds to go down because they're one of these giants that have kind of faded with time. So I'd love to see them back. And again, I don't know all the history. I don't know if I'm crossing boundaries or if I'm rooting for rivals or whatnot. But
And
gosh dang,
last question for you, Daniel. So okay, the championship, the 1 and 2 on points automatically are promoted to the EPL, right? Then there's a playoff between three and
three and
let's see,
six, four
three
and
and
five.
six, and 4 and 5, right? With in recent history, with the EPL title coming down to literally points and goal differential, would you be a fan of some kind of playoff to decide the EPL? Or maybe it's an MLS thing where you win the regular season, but then in order to lift the cup, you have to win the playoffs.
Here's why I'm against that. The FA Cup and the Carabao Cup exists for that reason. If you want to be a tournament team and you want to try and win those, you should do that. The reason why the EPL is so great, in my opinion, is because the best team always wins the title. In my opinion, the best team over 38 games wins the title, right? It's not someone who struggles the whole season but has a good playoff run, right? And they're the underdog. I love underdog stories. Save those for the cups. Save those for the tournaments, right? For the League Four underdogs who make it to like the third round or like 5 rounds into the FA Cup, things like that.
But
I love
there's
an
no
under.
money. there's no money in the tournaments though. Like,
Yeah, there is.
so I,
Not as
but
much as the Prem, but
right, but
but
imagine,
my
like West Ham. Like, let's say you had playoff among the top 8 teams, and West Ham go all the way through. That's you
I
still
I
you're not in.
I'm still against it. And I think it comes down to the best team will always win over 38 games opposed to you could get a West Ham who are not even close to the best team in the Prem. They could win off, just luck through the tournament. And I like this Cinderella story. But save that for the cups. I want the EPL to be about the best team wins. And the best way to have that happen is a home and away fixture against every team, and whoever has the most points after that is the best team. And I get
Yeah,
that, Liverpool lose by 1 point. Let's say they do this season, and there's arguments to be had who's better, Man City, Liverpool. In my opinion, that puts Man City, they're the best team that year because home and away they earned more points against every other team. So I get that sounds harsh, especially if Liverpool go on to win the Champions League. But I just think, I mean, look, they played Villarreal last round. Villarreal should be nowhere near the end of a competition, but the Cinderella story goes on, and it's sports, and that's why we play the game, right? We play the game because we don't know the outcome for sure, right? But I want the EPL title to be the best team to win it, and I think the best way to do that is the format there. What about you? Do
no,
you,
no, I agree. I agree. I do think like playoffs are fun, but I agree with you. That is why we have the Carabao Cup, the FA Cup, and then if you're in the top four, the Champions League. Like there are a lot
right?
of tournaments. That's not something that you get in the NBA and the NFL. There's not other leagues and other tournaments. You just that is where you play. Um, and honestly, I think the promotion relegation is the ultimate meritocracy, and I don't know how, but England is out Americaning us. They're,
Yeah,
the system is more American than American sports. There's real consequences. You get to teams that are bad go down. Teams that are good get to come up and play with the big dogs. And
right.
I think that is a very unique thing, especially because the English FA, I mean, it goes down many, many levels. And theoretically, you could start a grassroots program from the men's league and you could work your way into the EPL,
Yep.
theoretically. That could
Yeah, that
happen.
well, hashtag United is doing it right now, and there's other teams that have done it. But hashtag United is they got a lot of followers on YouTube. You can check them out. I love watching their stuff. They started as a Sunday League team. That there was a YouTuber who played a lot of FIFA, who then invested money into making this Sunday League team. Who then they have now climbed the rank. They're in the seventh tier right now. They've been promoted like 3 seasons in a row now where they're at the point where they're investing a ton. They have a women's team in the fourth division with teams like Norwich and like these big clubs.
Yeah,
So I mean,
totally.
that's stuff that just is amazing to me. You're right. That it's just like this could this could go how far that we take it, right?
Hmm.
So
Exactly.
yeah, I think you're right. I think you put it best. It's the ultimate meritocracy, and I think that's what sports are all about. So the fact that there is no promotion and relegation in the MLS, I think, is a crime. The fact that the Super League is even be thrown around, which throws out the that we can get into that more when the season ends and we have more things. We're looking for more things to talk about. But I think that it makes me sick to think about that, and I'm sad that my club was a part of it.
Yeah, mine too. All right, man. Is there anything else?
I think that's great. I appreciate y'all tuning in. We're doing this live on YouTube, but we're also posting it after the fact on Apple Podcasts and Spotify. Check us out there for other episodes. And yeah, be sure to drop a like, subscribe, share the podcast, share this video with anyone you find interesting. We'd love that. We'd love to get better at what we're doing. This is what we're passionate about. So we appreciate you taking your time, which we know is valuable, to listen to us. So yeah, thanks for
Shout,
tuning in. I'll
shout
go and
out
play.
Brock if he's listening. If he
Yeah,
ever
he said he was
listens.
listening this time.
If
So
you ever
shout out
download it,
Brock.
yeah, because I know that if you get a shout out, you're definitely coming and you're telling me, hey, thanks for the shout out. So if I
True.
don't hear from you, Brock, we got problems.
True. All right, signing off. Here we go.